Hello, everyone. I'm back. This is Momma J Speaks Unlimited. I'm coming to you from a new studio location here in Tampa, Florida, and I'm really happy and excited to be back on the internet radio. I am coming to you on Thursdays from 2 to 3 and then 7 to 8 as well with Late Enough with Momma J. That's me. So, I've been out and about for a while, but we'll be catching up really soon. But with no further ado, I want to introduce you all to my guest, Andy.
We'll say the last name.
Gatchowicz?
No. Last name is Gutierrez, Miss Jacqueline.
Gutierrez.
Yes.
Welcome to Momma J Speaks Unlimited.
Well, thank you so much for having me here.
Absolutely. I hear it's your first time.
Yes, this is the first time that I'm on a radio, TV show, on the internet, yes.
So are you feeling comfortable?
Yes.
You like it?
Very much so.
You want to do this again, won't you?
Oh, positively, yes.
Yeah, everybody gets addicted to it.
How can I complain sitting next to a lovely lady like you?
Oh, thank you. Yes. Flattery will almost get you somewhere, but not with me.
We understand that.
But at any rate, ladies and gentlemen that are watching, tuning in, be sure to call in if you'd like. And what is that number?
That number is going to be on the bottom of your screen coming up right now, and that's going to be 813-639-8255.
Awesome. So you have your friend that wants to probably call in, right?
Maybe.
Shall we introduce her name so she'll call you?
No. She could just call in if she calls in.
Okay.
It'll be nice of her.
Well, I was just seeing if we were going to really get her hooked on quick. Anyways, wanted to let you all know that Andy here is an author and lecturer that has traveled throughout the country doing other radio spots, and he also speaks at different colleges throughout the U.S. He's also a I had it done last night as I was...
Neurolinguistics.
Yes, linguistics. I practiced last night,
yes.
And I had it down, and then it's like... Yeah, he does that.
Yes, I do.
And so we're here having you today because of a book that you've written.
That's correct. Yes.
And this book, is this the one and only book you've written, or have you written any other books?
No. This is the one and only book that I've ever written called The Unfinished Work Week.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote it mainly because of in corporate life, if you know anybody in corporate life, you know they work at least 55 hours a week, some 60, some 65. They work at work. They work at home.
Mm-hmm.
They work on the weekends. And so what happens with their personal life?
Oh, it pretty much goes downhill.
I would say
and
so.
there's divorce.
And there's kids.
And then there's affairs.
And yes, they can have affairs, yes. And things just don't work out. No. You're working for the man all these hours of the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's ridiculous. And you don't have to.
No, you don't. So I was wondering, and I'm sure everybody else, what made you decide to write this book to begin with?
The same reason I just told you.
Okay.
There was so much information. See, technology, invaded really, really heavily around 2003. There was a big burst of technology.
We have a call coming in. If you want to go ahead and take it.
Sure. Hello. Welcome to the Momma J Speaks Unlimited show.
Hi, how can I find you on the internet?
If you go to talkwatchstudios.com, it should be on our homepage.
Yeah, I've been there. I haven't been able to find it. Even on a search, I can't find it.
Uh-oh, that's not a good thing.
No.
Our techies, our engineers and techies will be on that right away. Is this, what might your name be?
My name is Barbara Wierzbicki.
Oh, yes. I was just thinking about you, that you would be the one to call us. How are you, Barbara?
Who is this?
This is Momma J. This is Jacqueline.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I do want to view online, and that's why I had a problem.
Well, would you like to say hi to Andy? He's here, too.
Oh, sure. Why not?
Well, hello, Barbara.
Hello.
Hello,
Hi,
Barbara.
hi, Andy.
How's the weather up there?
Pardon me?
How's the weather? Have you gone outside?
Oh, the weather. Yes, the weather is very cold.
Yeah. So
We're talking single digits at night.
Where are you calling from?
From Providence, Rhode Island.
Oh, here they got good stuff up there. Haven't
Oh,
been
yeah,
up there.
real good
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, we got a little
Yeah.
cold now. The
Snow.
snow wasn't bad, but the cold has kind of settled in for a while.
Well, if you refresh the page to talkwatchstudios.com, it should be up. You should be able to see it.
Okay, I'm going to try that.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'll call back in.
Okay. I'll talk to
Okay.
you later, Barbara.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Andy.
Bye-bye. Anyhow, with the unfinished work week and why I did that, with the technology like I'm talking about, you would think that technology would help,
Right.
do your job more productively.
Yeah, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, and you say it that way. No, it doesn't. Do you know why?
Because we get ADD. We're ADD people of this society. We start working, and then because of all this technology that's going on in the world, our brain is constantly being stimulated in so many capacities. So we don't focus long enough to get anything done because we want to fit. Oh, let me check my email. Let me check this. Let me check that. And so the actual work that really gets done is like minimal because of technology, because it's all a distraction at a certain point.
What happens is this. Companies in the United States have downsized, right?
Yeah.
The head count has come down.
They went over to other countries.
Okay? The head count comes down because of layoffs, etc. That increases the workload of the employees that are still there, and still the companies want to see productivity rise.
Yeah, it's a catch-22.
No, no, seriously. It can happen.
It can happen?
Yes, it can.
Okay.
If you use the technological tools correctly, all right? And that's where I started to delve into this, because what you want to have, any business conversation you want to have, your show today, you want it to be remembered.
Oh, absolutely.
But the whole show is not going to be remembered.
Because we only save 8 pieces of information in an hour.
That's correct. You read my book.
I did, at least the first 2 chapters.
Well, the biggest thing is what Jenkins and Dellenbach found out was that in 8 hours, you forget 90% of what happens to you.
I can believe that.
Okay?
What did I do like 15 minutes ago? No.
No, don't laugh. Don't laugh.
Where are we again?
Yeah, don't laugh when you say that, because in 5 minutes, you'll forget 30% of what happened. And in 1 hour, you'll forget 2/3 of what happened. And this is all facts. This is not lies. This is all facts.
Right. I remember reading about this in my psychology class.
Yeah. So therefore, when you see people that are writing these long emails, right? I mean, how much do you really think you're going to remember out of that long email?
Well, some people just like to write, like myself. I happen to write long text messages. I don't mean to, but it's the process of my thinking.
Okay, so now
So how to break it up, I have no idea.
Let's delve into this. What you want to have remembered are key topics. It's like an outline. Roman numeral 1 is what you want to remember. If you remember A, B, and C underneath Roman numeral 1, that's really cool. But if you don't, you don't.
So you want people to just do index card style?
What I want people to do is to figure out what a key topic really is. All right? Which is significant, relevant, information
Mm-hmm.
that improves the motive to perform. Now, when you think of that,
Mm-hmm.
and you're creating a PowerPoint presentation, a meeting, a text message, an email, whatever, how many of those really fit that description, the topics that you're putting in there? Not too many.
Well, most people don't think in those terms anyways when they're just living life and going day to day. So to actually consciously become aware of that and
Yeah.
break it down like that,
Yeah.
that's a little bit of a challenge because a lot of people just don't even
That's
want to
because
go that
people
direction.
are caught in paradigms.
Yes.
That's because people don't want to change. But if you want to change that 55-hour work week,
that's
then
what you got to do.
your brain is going to say, hey, this is what I process. The brain can only process 4 verbal topics in 30 seconds. Only 4.
Yes, that's why seeing is better.
Seeing, yeah. And seeing, if you see something, the brain can process 15 different items in 30 seconds. 15.
Mhm.
Almost 4 times as much. And when the brain sees something, it actually holds that image for another 4 seconds. So if you see something and look away, believe it or not, you're still going to see that image. It's still going to be stored in your mind.
Right. Well, how long had you done this research before you realized this was something that professionals needed?
Oh, I've been doing neurolinguistics, which is
Yes. What is that really?
what is that really? Well, you're
What-
doing. Well,
what
you're,
is it
well, you're
really?
doing it right now.
Body language.
Yeah, it includes body language, and when you think about it, when you're in school,
Mhm.
all your schooling is done about what? Verbal.
Yes. Oh man, I was bored in school quite a bit.
Wow.
But the teacher that was most interactive
Yeah.
and entertaining, like animated or would show things and put the combination of touch, seeing, hearing, all
all
those
the senses.
all the senses, then I made A's in those classes. But the ones that were just recite, memorize, I was like, eh.
Well, it's not your fault.
I know it wasn't my fault.
It's the way. Oh, excuse us.
It was the school system. It was my parents. It was this. It was that. No, just kidding.
It's the brain. We don't realize that the brain runs our lives, and it does run our life. So therefore, when you talk about this key topic I was talking about before, it's got to be personal and meaningful. Otherwise, the brain won't even process that information. It'll go right by the door. It will not open up the door to your brain.
No brain opening. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So why do you think that this technology, the text messaging,
Yes.
text messaging.
Text messaging.
What do you think of how people do text messaging and then people break up during text messaging or get into a huge fight over text messaging? Do you know about this stuff? It happens.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Well, yes, it absolutely is. But text messaging, because it's so disconnected from the actual emotion that you hear in a person's voice, people create whatever.
That's because you can't see emotion in the emails or texting. You can't see it. Okay.
Right. So with technology,
and you can't hear it.
Exactly. So with technology being the way it is to blow up and everything, as far as it's taking over in the workspace and this and that.
Sure it is.
So how would you
Text
relate?
messaging. This is what's happening out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
You ever hear of a company called ATOS? ATOS?
Mm-mm.
They're a $12 billion information technology company in Europe.
Oh, of course, Europe.
Okay. Around 4 years ago, Thierry Breton, who was their finance minister of France, took over as CEO. The first thing he did was to cut and stop all internal email in that company.
Really?
Everybody thought he was crazy. Everybody said, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what instead, there's more personal contact.
Mm-hmm.
There are more phone calls.
Ah.
And they went into an internal social media, texting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Their profits have risen. Their productivity has risen. Now I'm going to give you another example. Ever hear of a guy named Luis Suarez?
Sounds vaguely.
Vaguely familiar, huh?
Vaguely.
Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez heads the department at IBM, Big Blue, right? Another information technology company. And he heads up the department for social media, all right? He was doing that. He came back from vacation once. I think it was Christmas vacation. He had over 600 emails. So what did Luis do? He deleted them all. And then he started answering people that would send him an email by text. And so what happened was, of course, he had all this time on his hands that he actually lost 50 pounds. He went out and started working out. But the other thing that's more interesting is the lady that is now the CEO of IBM, when she put out her first broadcast, you think she put it out on email?
Twitter.
Nope.
Oh.
Facebook?
Inside text.
Inside text.
Inside text.
So everybody has their
all over the globe
phones.
for IBM, inside text, not email.
So everybody got the text via their phones, not the little Blackberries, or do Blackberries even?
Yes. Blackberries can do that. And
I know, but is that still the
can,
phone for like inside corporations and stuff?
No,
I knew at Disney it was like that.
No. It was for a while, but it isn't anymore. They fell kind of far behind on their technology. But what they're trying to do here, and that we have to see, is that when you write a text, you have limited characters. When you write an email, it's almost unlimited. So that when you look in your inbox and you see this long message, what do?
I don't even read it.
You don't read it, do you? You
No.
put it aside and say, I'll get to it later.
A lot of times I don't even do that. I just delete the sucker.
Yeah, because you know why? Because the brain doesn't like it either.
I've actually told friends of mine, and most of them are female, who send me those long emails.
Sure.
I delete it, and I'll turn around and say, if you want to talk to me that much, just call me.
Yeah.
We'll meet for dinner or something.
Yeah, but my brain doesn't want to look at that.
I've only got so much RAM. I'm still running Windows DOS, you know.
Yeah. But your brain, seriously, your brain does not want or does not like to see all that information, because the brain is going to process all that information.
You go into overload.
Yes. And once you go into
And
overload,
you get
what
tired
happens?
just by looking at it.
Well, I'm dyslexic, and that's one thing that I always dealt with when I was in school. If I saw a lot of information, it was overwhelming, I just shut down. I was like a frozen computer.
That's right. You're exactly right. And you didn't do it.
My brain did.
Your brain did it.
I couldn't do it.
The brain
Yeah.
is separate from the body.
Even though it's inside the body.
Even though it's
Yes.
inside the body, it controls you.
Right.
And you're not doing it to yourself. So what happens is your attention span, when your brain gets overloaded, goes where? It goes away.
Right.
Right? And you're often drifting somewhere else. Meanwhile, the person's still talking. You're
Right.
not hearing a word they're saying. Not hearing a word they're saying.
I do that when people are talking to me. All of a sudden, I shut down after so much. Like
Because
a glaze will come
why?
over my face.
Why?
Because usually what is being said to me really annoys me, and I don't agree with it. And so instead of being a hot-tempered, feisty woman, I just go into mute and disassociate and disconnect and whatever. And I let that person keep rambling, and I go, But
if it
at
was
some
personal,
point, I'm pretty much...
But if it was personal and meaningful information, would you put up the door?
That's usually when I do it.
Well, no, you don't. That's when the door opens up. When they start talking about things that you don't like, you're not uncomfortable with, you're uncomfortable with it, that's when your brain doesn't let it into the door. It doesn't even process the information.
If it's not an interest to you, then your brain doesn't care.
That's exactly true. If it's not personal and meaningful to you, yes. So that's why when, you look at corporate world again and the 55-hour work week and all this other good stuff that's going on in the world today, when they say that 71% of meetings are irrelevant.
It's just for a social gathering. So people
well,
can take a break from their desk and just
Well,
throw
I've-
numbers around.
I've noticed that 90% of the work that gets done is not in meetings.
That's true. But where's it getting done?
In the hallways, at
home.
At home. Sometimes
At dinner.
sometimes in the bathroom.
But it's not getting done
In
at
the
work. You know
bathroom?
why?
I don't want to know.
They have meetings after meetings after meetings in the corporate world where they should be productive in work, and that's why they've got to work at other places to make up for
Right.
that lost time.
It's almost like a meeting is just nothing more than a smoke and mirror. It's to give the illusion that you're working.
And that you're doing something important.
Right.
Well, a lot of it is repetitive too, remember. And also in big meetings, there might be a manager sitting in that meeting, and there might be a topic there for that manager that's only 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they have to sit there for a whole 60 minutes? They should just say, okay, fine, I'm back. I'm going back to my desk. I'm going to get some work done.
Right.
If you've ever seen a corporate life where they have a webinar, you know what those people are doing? They put themselves on mute.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing something else.
And
Right.
They're doing something else. Exactly. They're doing something else.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And that happens every single day. I don't care what company you're talking about, IBM, Intel. I don't care what it is, PepsiCo. I don't care if it's down the street, the Chamber of Commerce. That's what happens.
I like your chapter 9. 66% is the name of it. Of your chapter. For chapter 9. 66%.
This is where she's going again.
Yeah.
You know where she's going, right?
66%.
The word she can't say, neuro-linguistics. That's where she's going.
Neuro-linguistics. See, I said it now.
Very good.
But I like this quote that you put in here from great philosopher Robert McCloskey. I know you believe you understand what you think I said, but I am not sure you realize that what you heard is not what I meant. Oh, I should use that one on quite a few people I know. I like that.
This is going back, and like I said, the book is full of facts. These are not just my ideas. This book is full of facts.
Oh, I like this question that you put in here, too.
Go ahead.
How in the world am I going to change communicating from speaking to showing? That's a good question. So, tell us about that. How are you going to go from speaking to showing?
Touching into my intimate zone over here.
Oh, is that intimate? Aw, I do that. Hi.
In neurolinguistics or in body language, which is 66% of every conversation, if we were just sitting here right now and talking like this in a monotone, then you're not going to give the full meaning of what's being said, okay? Because all this body, all this motion that we're talking about, when we talked about before being in school, they used to teach us about nouns, pronouns, adjectives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Of what you remember, only 9% is heard. You talk 16,000 words a day on the average.
But nonverbal communication is the number one way that people communicate with each other.
That's correct, 66%. So it's not, people say, oh, I know how to read body language. Well, the fact of the matter is they don't. Because it's a language.
Do you have to go to school, get a degree in it?
You have to come to me.
I learned to read body language playing poker.
Exactly.
That's
there's
a
certain
good
things in
school
poker.
to learn it.
No.
Hey, I made a lot of money doing it too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why a lot of people that play poker might wear dark glasses.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because there's certain things that happen, like with your eyes, your pupils will
dilate.
and you can't control that.
Right.
And a matter of fact, if you don't know that people are watching you, that's when you read body language.
Right.
When you know people are watching you with you, that's when you don't read it.
Right.
Okay, because you're controlling what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
Personally controlling what you're doing.
So when no one's paying attention, then you do that.
Exactly true. Exactly true. Now,
Is that what you've been doing with me all these years?
So, and I'll give you a quick little thing. Four things that you have to read in body language, which are like nouns, adjectives, adverbs. Okay.
I think I know.
And you're flipping through that book real fast, aren't you?
I know the answer to this one.
Yeah, what are they? Four of them.
Position, posture, gesture, and distance.
Correct.
Yay!
Those are the four
Gold
things. Yeah, those are the four things. But the only thing is now.
You touched my intimate area.
I know. the only thing is now is that you have to read that all at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Not just because a person is sitting with their arms crossed. People say, well, they're being defensive. Doesn't mean a darn thing. Doesn't mean anything until you read the three other things. When you read the three, all four, then you get a complete sentence. If you don't read all four, you're going to take things out of context, and you'll probably be wrong.
I'll have to remember that when I'm reading the body language of my children.
Of your children, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, children are great.
They
They're
always
great
have
to-
this
they're
bored
great
look
to
on
read.
their face, and I'm like, "Are you bored? No, Mom. Are you bored? No, Mom."
Well, think about
Wait, you're slouching and you're this and you're frowning and da 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 da, and well, you're just giving off the energy as if you're bored. Are you bored? No.
Well, sooner or later they're going to tell you yes because they want to make Ma happy. So anyhow, but what you want to do with this is it's just like, when people negotiate in business, they're negotiating. You playing cards, right? It's very important to know what is being said is truthful and what is being said is might not be truthful.
Right.
How far can I push this? Salespeople, when they go out into the street, come on. They should be able to read the people. That's the more knowledge you have when you're doing business, the better off you are if you know how to use it. But the majority of people out there don't know how to read body language. The majority of the people out there don't understand how the brain controls their negotiations and their business and their texting and their emails. Most of those people don't know it. Why? Because they don't go to school for it anymore. How many managers do you know actually go back to take some courses for better communication?
Oh no.
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 I
And
can't
then
think of
a
any.
lot of managers that are managers, I'm like, what are you doing as a manager?
How do you even get to be a manager?
Yeah. I feel like I'd be a better manager
Well, listen, don't.
because I'm a people person and I
Yeah.
like to read people and everything. Plus, I have a little bit of intuition.
Well,
Only 80%.
plus the fact you have to keep on researching and learning.
Oh, yes.
And that's what they
Always
don't
learning.
do. They think that once they get to their certain levels,
That's it.
they know everything.
Right. Oh, and it's so not true.
Yeah, it's not true, is it?
If you don't keep learning, you don't keep growing, and when you're ripe, you rot. That's what my mama always told me.
Well, it's the truth because, with technology, the way that technology has grown, how useful it can be.
Yeah, you
In
mentioned
business.
something about Facebook is being eliminated.
Well, Facebook, yeah, that was on the news last night. The younger generation doesn't like Facebook.
Interesting.
What are we going to do?
That was on the news last night.
Somebody told me that
Yeah.
where I was last night. They said, "Oh yeah, it's the Vine."
Yeah, it's going.
It's
the
it's
Vine.
Vine and I think
Instagram.
Instagram, yeah, is another big one.
Instagram and
Yeah,
Vine.
but those things would be affecting the business world anyhow because, a lot
Everything
of people.
has to progress.
Yeah, everybody goes to Facebook. They think, you write your life story on there. You're nuts. If the government ever said, I want you to tell me from the time you get up in the morning until you go to bed,
Go to their
what you're doing, right?
My father's a private investigator, and whenever he's been asked to go find someone, that's the first thing he does is does a Facebook search on them. He can say, "Oh yeah, they're right there,"
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
can, and within a day he can go wherever they are in the country and get them.
Do you have a Facebook account?
I do. I hardly ever use it though.
Do you have Facebook account?
Well, yeah, I do to promote my show. MommaJSpeaks.com.
Andrew John doesn't have a Facebook account.
Well, of course you don't. You don't want anybody to find you.
Oh, no. I do my marketing and stuff like that. I'm on LinkedIn,
Ah.
Mhm.
which is a business
Yes.
I'm on
community,
LinkedIn.
all right? And we
On
don't talk
Twitter.
about everything we're doing during the day.
I know there are some
You
people
know?
on LinkedIn who do.
Some do, but that's not the way it should be used.
No, it shouldn't.
And I'm also on Google Plus,
Mm-hmm.
which is more of a business type thing.
I've heard
But
more
I will
Google
not
Plus
be on
lately.
Facebook. Well, Google Plus is growing. Google stock is $1,100, $1,200 a share.
Wow.
I've noticed Google Plus is to Facebook when it first started, as Facebook is to MySpace when it first started.
Yeah,
Oh, that's an interesting
yeah. It's really coming on strong.
comparison.
It's really coming on strong because they do have, Hangouts on there on Google Plus, and that includes not just, video conferencing,
Mm-hmm.
all right, which you can do on that,
Right,
but it includes messaging,
right.
all right? Everything on the Hangouts, that's where it is. And so it's actually taken Facebook, it's taken email, it's taking everything from its competitors and putting it into one place.
Right. Well, it's, and since Google has been kind of taking a little piece of everything, like they grabbed onto YouTube, they grabbed onto
Yes.
the gym. I mean, they're getting little bits of everything and becoming its own internet entity.
Oh,
yes.
They are huge. They just bought the patent rights to drive a car by itself.
I heard about that. I think I read something in Popular Mechanics about that.
Yep.
I'm finding that I'm using more Google stuff than the Explorer, anything on Explorer. And Facebook, as far as Facebook goes, I'm seeing myself be on it less and less.
Yeah, you should be.
I put positive affirmations on there.
Yeah.
And then that's about it.
Just remember that whenever you're writing, it's very important to remember what your key topic is, that what you want them to remember, all right? Because they might remember things you don't need them to remember, but there are certain things that you want people to remember. So if you think before you do your email or your texting, and your focus on that key topic, then you're going to get remembered what you want remembered.
Right.
If you don't do that, you're just going to ramble on.
So how long did it take you to write this book?
Believe it or not, this book...
all your research, like how long had you researched this for until you finally decided, I'm going to write this book because it's about time? And then when you had given this to me, you were letting me know that any type of managerial type book has to be small.
Yep.
Because of the fact that people don't take the time to really read books anymore if they're that thick.
Correct.
Unless they're special people. Like you and myself and Chris there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When you're looking at a book like this, and the reason that it's got to be small, have you ever heard of the 1 minute salesman?
Yes.
The 1 minute manager?
Mm-hmm.
All about 100 pages long.
Right.
And that's because managers can read it quickly. They also have larger type.
So you can see it better.
Yes, because most managers are over 40 years old and they can read it without glasses. And the other thing is, if they get on an airplane, they're on a flight, they can take this book and they can read this book and they'll be done before they get off the flight. So that's why you write books, like this. But you'll also notice, I could have gone on and on and on and on as to why the brain does what it does.
Yes, like that psychology book that that was a beast.
But what's going to happen with that? You're going to put this book down, and you're not going to remember it anyhow.
Oh no, that was a scary book. I college. It was this thick, and it was very scientific psychology and all the technology of the brain. Like, who knew? I'm like, really? I'm about emotions and feelings. All this technical stuff.
It's part of the brain. It's part of the brain.
Gosh.
It's part of the brain.
And then I challenged my teacher who wrote the book.
Oh, that's always fun. You would have hated my books that I had when I was in college. I had technical manuals that were like, about the science behind how an audio wave comes out of a mouth and bounces around the room and how you can calculate that, lots of math and stuff.
Yeah. No, I loved my teacher. I really did respect her a lot, knowing that she wrote the book and she was a PhD.
That didn't help you with the grade.
No, it didn't, but I mean, I made some points to her and I think she found me to be animated. I was an animated student. Yeah. I enjoyed the class, and I did learn something, but I'm like, wow, science really needs to catch up with some spirituality because it's all coming together.
It is coming together.
Yeah.
I mean, for a long, long time, it's been together.
Oh, yeah, since...
long time.
My favorite book. I got my favorite book.
Oh, here she goes.
Ha!
The Physics of Love. We went from a business discussion to a love book.
No, this is a very technical. You're talking about technology. It's technology. Technology. This is all about technology. We're not going into this. I'm just showing you.
I'm giving you a hard time, Jacqueline.
Of course.
Well, technology or love has caught up with technology because now they got all these dating sites now.
Oh, that's also true, right?
Yeah.
Those sites scare me.
Yeah, they do, actually.
And I don't feel like they're authentic.
You don't think Christian Mingle is authentic?
I don't really think any of them are authentic because I guess I'm just a little bit old school. You meet somebody, you get to know them through work or mutual friends or whatever. And if there's an attraction or if there's a little spark or whatever, then you just kind of
roll with it.
Roll with it, yeah.
You know, I think I felt the same way about like going to find a job. Used to,
Yes.
when I started working when I was 15 years old, I went out and found a job. You know, I actually walked into a place, shook the guy's hand, looked him in the eye, and pretty much convinced him that if he didn't hire me, he was going to go under. And several years ago, I got laid off from AOL, and I'm trying to find a job, and everyone's like, "Oh, go to our website or go to www.wedontcareaboutyou.com."
Stand that.
And I'm sitting there going, how can I sell myself
That's right.
on just a few pages and I hate their interview questions. Stealing money from the register is bad. Strongly disagree.
Yes, those are
I'm
the
like,
psychology tests. I like to mess with them. I'll say, I'll answer them one way, and then they'll repeat the questions in a totally different way. So then I'll use the total opposite answers just to really,
Well, see, I've helped people get interviews,
right?
And I've helped people get jobs, and you got to go back and selling, and you have to sell uniqueness.
Right.
You are unique.
Right.
We are.
So you have
all
to make.
unique.
You have to make. But there's only certain qualities in business for uniqueness, even in companies.
Right.
Really, what are they?
Maybe it depends
On what they're looking
for? Depends on the company.
On the company.
Yeah.
They might have one, two, at the most three. Like I had one company I had in Munich, Germany, called Hypersoft that I was a consultant for.
Right.
And it was about metrics. And I don't mean metrics on a tape. I'm talking about metrics at work. And I didn't know what it was. I had to go through their website quite a bit. But anyhow, when you get into this metric area, what did they have? Well, normally, as businesses grow, they grow other businesses. They buy other businesses. And lots of times their platforms are different on their computers. Now, what Hypersoft did for reporting purposes, he developed a clearinghouse where all the information came in from Oracle, SAP. It cleared it up, and it spit it out one report. Whereas before,
that made it convenient.
Oh, yeah, because otherwise you've got a person working off of this spreadsheet, that spreadsheet, and having to combine the spreadsheet.
Right.
Yeah.
So rather than that, they just have everything into a database that just organized it.
What a uniqueness.
Mm-hmm.
And he's made himself he's been quite successful doing that because, it's patented. It's Europe, and some big accounts. I'm talking about very big accounts.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So what happened in your life to even start you on this track? Like when you were a little boy, were you somebody that wanted to do this?
When I grow up, I'm going to write the unfinished work week.
Yeah. I want to find out what led you, was something going on in your life that you decided, because you started paying attention to all of these elements and businesses and everything, that led you to decide to write this book?
Well, it wasn't when I was a little kid. When I was a little kid,
I
was
That's always
playing
a
baseball,
good starting
basketball,
point.
having fun.
Playing in
Oh,
dirt.
you played baseball, really?
Yeah.
What position?
I was a second baseman.
Nice. I was a pitcher in high school.
Yeah.
Did you play high school?
Yeah.
How about college?
No.
Did you go to school on a scholarship?
I went to school at Georgetown University on a scholarship.
I knew it.
Yes.
You look like that type of guy.
She's calling me a nerd.
Hey, I'm right there with you, brother.
So anyhow, when I went to Georgetown, believe it or not, it's a super darn good school. And I learned a lot there that I used in my corporate career. And so I really began doing some of the things that are in this book, I began doing those things while I was in the corporate world. Then when I got out of the corporate world, I opened up my own consulting business in 1993. And of course, the neuro-linguistic things was there, and my selling programs are there. But they all are different. They're all copyrighted, all U.S. copyrighted. No one can use anything that I've done. Okay?
Unless they call you and say, hey, can I borrow this?
And then I ask them how much money they have. So
it's going to cost you.
Yeah, it's going to cost you. So anyhow, and after working like this and doing my consulting work, and especially seeing, it's so ridiculous. After 9/11, if you recall, everybody said, I'm going to change my job. I'm going to stay home. I'm going to spend more time with my family, right? And what's happened?
It's false.
The corporate life has taken them the time that they would spend with their family and they've just deluged them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize a CEO makes an average of 380 times more than an average employee in his company?
Yeah. That's very easy.
380 times more.
Mm-hmm.
Think of that.
Mm-hmm.
How can he be worth it?
I can't imagine no, I can't imagine because he can delegate everything to everybody and then do nothing.
Right?
He's out on the golf field.
So what have they done?
Golf course.
What
Golf
have they done?
field. I make up stuff at times, okay?
Golf field.
I am a golfer. That's,
So what's happened with them is they make a lot of money on bonuses, et cetera, on the bottom line. And in order to do that, what do? They cut the headcount again, going back. They cut the headcount, increase the workload, expect higher productivity.
And their bonuses are tax deductible.
That's blasphemy.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Instead of taking less money, and that's the stockholders.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that do these deals. And who are the stockholders? Common, ordinary people that hold stock.
Mm.
Oh, yeah,
That
billionaires.
only vote by proxy. They don't care, but they should care.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you put a cap on what executives made, you'd have more people. The middle class would be growing because more people would still be working. The overload wouldn't be so much. And guess what? The 55-hour work week wouldn't be there.
Mm.
There are some simple ways you can do things if they want change.
Well, have you considered putting that type of workshop together to teach people that? Since you know how to do that.
No, I haven't.
Because I read this article recently about at the first of the year that billionaires instantaneously became trillionaires because of the corporate type stuff going on.
Yes.
I don't remember the article but I know that.
At the high end, that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure it is. Sure, yeah.
So do you think that change really needs to happen on a personal level, one by one, for people to decide whether or not that they want to make the change in their...
I have not met one person who I've discussed this with about how many hours they work that enjoys saying, oh, yes, I work 65 hours a week and I'm very happy. No. But because of your economy, the high unemployment, I mean, even college grads are having a hard time finding a job.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking and doing whatever their Don managers are telling them to do. And remember, their managers, like we said before, are not up to date on techniques, etc., that can make that job easier and more productive.
Yeah. Or communication.
Yes, communication's the key.
If they don't have good interpersonal skills in their managerial ways, then that's where their whole company or their portion of the company is going to fail or just have a lot of stagnant stuff going on.
That's true.
So I'm fabulously aware of certain things in life. It's a good thing.
Yes, it is a good thing, Jack.
All right, Martha Stewart. It's a good thing.
So are you going on a book tour with this book, or what's your take on this?
This little book, this little take on this has gotten me another
speaking gig,
seminar, webinar at Columbia University.
Exciting.
Oh, yeah. That's big time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also going around and speaking at some of the local SHRM chapters, Society of Human Resource Management.
Oh, that's a pretty good idea there.
Okay, yeah. So my name has gotten through there, so I'm going out and doing it there, and also the American Marketing Association.
Aw, the American Marketing Association. When I was in college at, can't say that school because it's not there anymore. I got that packet to become part of the American Marketing Association.
I take it you didn't do it.
That was so many years ago. I have an associate's degree in marketing and management.
Excellent. Woo.
I know.
Very good.
Whoa. And then what's really funny, we were speaking about the resumes, online. Yeah. What my resume always gets is that position for insurance salesperson. And I'm like, that is the farthest thing from who I am or what I want to do. And I'm always deleting those.
Well, that's too bad. You don't want to help people when they die, huh?
No, not in that way. I'd rather help them in other ways.
I don't feel bad. I have a bachelor's degree in audio production. I put that on my resume and send that out, and I get telephone technician. I'm like, what? No. It's not a communications degree. It's actually a Bachelor of Fine Arts. If you want to get technical, how does fine arts do with telephone technician?
So what was your degree in?
Business management.
Just business management?
Yep. And a minor in marketing.
Did you go all the way for your master's?
No.
Oh.
I went directly into the business world.
Got your bachelor's, and then you went.
So then I went to
work and did the grind.
Well, actually, it's not a grind. I've always enjoyed what I do.
So you did enjoy your 55 hours a week.
At that point in time, it wasn't 55 hours a week.
Oh, okay.
At that point in time, a week was 37 and a half hours.
Really?
Positively, yeah.
Wow.
You didn't get
Things have changed.
You didn't get into your 55 hours a week until after 2001.
Oh, wow. I used to make money back then.
That's right. That's right. And
Therapy.
there was a strong middle class, and that was before 9/11.
I was getting yelled at by drill sergeants back then.
I was 2001. Oh, yes. Recap 2001. Where were you? What were you doing?
Well, you weren't born yet.
Yeah, that's it. Instead, I was giving birth to my 12-year-old son. Yes. Back then, I was actually giving birth.
You were.
Yes. And in college.
And that's why they call you Momma J, right?
Momma J. Actually, the reason why they call me Momma J is I was doing contract work for a transportation company over in Orlando. I actually enjoyed this job because this was people interaction. And part of what we had to do, the big conventions that would come in on buses, we had to make sure people got off the bus and on the bus. So at this point, it was the DECA conference.
Yeah.
Bunch of teenagers, young people. So I knew that they weren't going to respect Jacqueline when I had to speak with them. But the moment I said, I'm Momma J, I'm here to put you in line because your mama is not here. And they all ended up loving me, and it just kind of stuck. And even worked with grown-ups, too, because some of the grown-ups were even kind of I'm like, don't make me, the whole Momma J thing. So it's kind of stuck. And I have found that when I introduce myself as Momma J, people instantaneously smile, giggle, open up, want to give a hug, want to get a hug. It's just one of those things. So, yeah, I like being Momma J.
All those precious little things that make you Momma J.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, we are already done. Thank you very much, Andy,
well, thank
for
you so
coming
much for having
on board
me here.
and being our guest. Everybody, if you get a chance to, definitely go to Amazon.com and check out this book by buying it.
Or they can go to the website.
Or go to the website, which I'm sure he puts up there.
Yeah, it's been up there several times. I'll throw it up there one more time.
Oh, one more time, we're going to flash you.
We're going to flash it up there.
Thank you.
The Unfinished Work Week by, I just call him Andy because he's my buddy.
Yep.
He's my buddy. Anyways, I hope you all have enjoyed my coming back show, and tune in next Thursday, every Thursday from 2 to 3 p.m. Take care. Bye.